Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day, welcome to News at Noon on Kaieteur Radio. Before we get started, I want to say from the Kaieteur Radio and Kaieteur News team, happy 56th Independence Anniversary to all Guyanese living in the country and abroad. I'm Kevin Smith. Without further ado, let's get to the news in detail. ESSO's environmental permit for its LISA 1 operations comes up for review next week, and as such, stakeholders are calling on the EPA to not just act as a rubber stamp and renew the permit without major reforms to the deal between the partners involved. Janki called on the EPA not to renew the permit unless there is a major overhaul. Alternatively, she added, there should be a new environmental impact assessment of the LISA 1 operations going forward. According to her, her recommendation for a new environmental impact assessment going forward is based in part on the fact that Guyana does have very strong laws in relation to EIAs. She lamented, however, those laws are not being implemented or enforced. Meanwhile, following some 5 months of negotiations with China Railway Construction Corporation and its partners, the Ministry of Public Works on Wednesday signed the contract for the construction of a new $260 million Demerara River Bridge. The project, which was awarded to CRCC and its partners, China Railway Caribbean Company Limited and China Railway Engineering Bureau Group Company Limited, will see the construction of a modern four-lane structure linking Region 3 and 4. The new bridge, which is slated to be completed in 2 years, is said to have a lifespan of 100 years. Meanwhile, the Caribbean COVID-19 Food Security and Livelihoods Impact Survey, which was launched by CARICOM to rapidly gather data on impacts on livelihoods, food security and access to markets, has shown that Guyanese are adopting negative measures to cope with the ongoing difficulties associated with accessing food. The survey was implemented by the World Food Programme with the support from the Food and Agriculture Organization, and 4 rounds of the survey have been completed since the beginning of the pandemic. More people are skipping meals and eating less preferred foods compared to April 2020. Lowest income households, it was said, were most likely to resort to negative coping strategies, with 94% reporting to have depleted savings, 64% reduced spending and other essential needs, and 52% sold their productive assets. Food insecurity has further increased since April 2020. It is estimated that 58% of the respondents from Guyana are moderately or severely food insecure, which is higher than the regional average, the survey found. And moving on, ESSO says while it is yet to develop a decommissioning program for its 5th project, Uaru, to be submitted for approval by the government in accordance with the petroleum agreement, it plans to abandon a significant amount of junk on Guyana's seabed at the end of that project. This much can be gleaned from the project summary for the planned 5th Exxon project in Guyana that was submitted to the Environmental Protection Agency as part of the approval process. The abandonment of the equipment was also confirmed by in-country project manager Anthony Jackson during a public scoping exercise held at Umaniana on Tuesday. He sought to justify this position by pointing to the fact that in some countries, it has been found that marine life by the end of these projects would assimilate into the environment, and such removing the equipment could do more harm than good. In other news, in a bid to revive a dying fishing industry in Guyana, President Mohamed Ali is moving ahead to try out the reportedly unproven fish cage initiative at a Region 2 village on the Essequibo coast called Mainstay Wayaka. Ali made this announcement on Wednesday at the village's community ground and touted that the project could have a profitability of $10 million per year. When the government first spoke about its intention of setting marine cages in Guyana, Kaieteur did some preliminary research and had found that This form of aquaculture is still in its trial stage, even though some countries have had some degree of success with a limited number of fish species. However, the government is confident that the experiment will work in Guyana and went ahead to set aside some $200 million for the project in this year's budget. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 10 in Guyana. We'll take a short break and resume with the news.
Experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel. Better together.
The Guyana Elections Commission is currently conducting a registration exercise that will end on May 29, 2022. You can apply for registration if you will be 14 years and older by October 31, 2022 and have never been registered. Apply for change or correction to your registration information such as names, date of birth, and occupation. Apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered. Apply for a replacement ID card if your ID card was lost, stolen, damaged, or destroyed. You must bring along original documents to support your application. Don't delay. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area today. For more information, visit www.gcom.org.gy. Follow us on Facebook at Guyana Elections Commission or contact us on 225-02779 or 223-9653. Email pro@gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Guyana's oil-fueled economic boom is evident in a wide range of local businesses that have been recording positive growth within the country. This is despite the more than a 2-year running COVID-19 pandemic that significantly impacted, among other important areas, the world's fiscal operations. The Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union, or GAU, General Secretary Aslam Singh, has attributed the successes of the local businesses to the dedication and efforts put in by the country's workforce. However, Singh said the Workers Union is convinced that Guyana's working class is not reaping the benefits of their contributions to the growth of the private sector. He pointed specifically to the minimum wage of $44,200. After calculating the sum and taking inflation into consideration, the union found that the minimum wage really works out to $39,000. Meanwhile, a Texas-based company, which is where United States oil giant ExxonMobil is also headquartered, has been hired to conduct the environmental impact assessment for the company's fifth oil project, Uaru Plus. Acorn International is the new firm that will be carrying out the impact assessment for Exxon through its subsidiary ESSO. At a scoping exercise held to inform the environmental impact assessment, Grace Russell, a biologist and environmental consultant attached to the firm, explained that she was hired by ExxonMobil and received a no objection from the EPA to carry out the assessments. The decision to select another consultant was forced after Exxon was pressured by environmentalists who questioned the independence of the lone firm that has been conducting such studies to date, Environmental Resources Management. And moving on, leader of the opposition Aubrey Norton is of the view that the government has started what he believes is a deliberate move to thwart the work of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee. His statement comes days after the representatives of the PPPC were absent from the PAC meeting, purportedly due to community engagements. During a press conference on Wednesday, Norton explained that the government side was a no-show at PAC's statutory meeting on Monday, May 23rd, stalled the work of the committee. He said that this is just the beginning. During the debate, the opposition argued that the motion is an attempt by government to undermine transparency and accountability to the people. The government denied this and mouthed that they will never seek to stymie the work of the Public Accounts Committee. Meanwhile, as the integrity of Guyana's environmental regulator remains under question, the Minister of Natural Resources, Vikram Bharat, has made it clear that the government had to take steps to make the granting of permits easier to allow the free flow of business and revenue in the country. Bharat specifically pointed out that this was the case with the Environmental Protection Agency, the Central Housing and Planning Authority, as well as the regional authorities such as City Hall. He explained that it is important that the permitting process does not serve as a hindrance to development, adding that when the PPPC took office in August of 2020, hundreds of millions were tied up by the agencies, which he alluded to earlier. And now for your COVID-19 update, followed by the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News. The Ministry of Health on Wednesday reported that within the last 24-hour period, 93 new COVID-19 cases have been recorded across the country. The new infections now bring the total number of confirmed cases to 64,435. They were detected in Region 4, which recorded 45 cases, Region 2, which recorded 13, Region 6, which recorded 12, Region 3, 9, Region 5, which recorded 6 cases, Region 10 and 7, which recorded 3 cases each, and Region 1, which recorded 1 case. Mega gold firms coming up, mega small miners going down. Last week, the finance man, Dr. Ashni Singh, informed the nation that 3 mega gold companies are coming here. He was proud to share that they will all be bigger than oh my. Right here we have our little people, the pork knockers, begging for a piece of land in the hope that they will find a few pennyweights of gold, and even that they can't get. But the foreigners are welcomed with the red carpet rolled out, while our fellow Guyanese are rolled around like garbage drums and treated in any disdainful way that pleases our leaders. Is this a nation, or is Guyana a cruel joke from sick leaders? And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
It's Thursday, May 26th. I'm GHK Lal. This is Kaieteur Radio 99.